Dr. Elias Mercer was finishing another exhausting shift at the rural clinic when the night sky erupted. What locals would later call a meteor streaked across the darkness, trailing violet light before disappearing behind the distant pines. Something pulled at him, curiosity, perhaps, or intuition, and he found himself driving toward the impact site instead of his empty apartment. The forest was eerily quiet as he followed the scorched path. His flashlight beam caught on something metallic, not a meteor but a vessel of some kind. Its sleek design, unlike anything human engineering could produce. Steam hissed from fractures in its hull, carrying a scent like ozone and lavender. "Hello?" Elias called, medical bag clutched tightly. "Is anyone there?" A soft moan answered him. Pushing aside twisted metal, he found her humanoid but unmistakably alien. Her skin shimmered with a faint purple luminescence, delicate patterns swirling beneath the surface. Dark, violet fluid blood, he realized, seeped from a wound in her side. Her eyes fluttered open, iridescent, orbs the color of twilight, regarding him with fear and fascination. "I won't hurt you," he whispered, approaching slowly. "I'm a doctor, Naira," she said, her voice melodic despite the pain. "I am Naira Velaries, first daughter of the Luminary Convergence." Elias worked quickly, assessing her injuries. The wound was deep, but what alarmed him more was the way her light seemed to be fading, her pulse weakening beneath his fingertips. "You're losing too much blood," he said. "I need to get you to a hospital." "No," she gasped. "Your physicians cannot help me. I require life essence." "What you call blood?" Her words sent a chill through him. "You need a transfusion?" "My kind sustains itself on the vital energy of compatible beings," she explained weakly. "Without it, I will fade." Elias hesitated, weighing his oath to preserve life against the unknown risks. "Will my blood work?" "Yes," but her voice faltered. "It creates a connection, a sharing that is forbidden. The doctor in him couldn't let her die. Take what you need." Drawing a scalpel from his bag, he made a small incision on his palm. Naira's eyes widened as he offered his bleeding hand. "Are you certain?" she whispered. "Once begun, it cannot be undone. I'm certain." Her cool fingers wrapped around his wrist, guiding his palm to her lips. As she drank, warmth spread through his body, not the drain he expected, but in exchange, as if something of her flowed back into him. The forest around them seemed to pulse with new light. When she finally released him, Elias felt dizzy yet strangely invigorated. The wound on his palm had already closed, leaving a faint mark like a crescent moon. "What just happened?" he asked. Naira's color had improved, the violet luminescence beneath her skin growing stronger. "We have shared essence. It is intimate among my people, a connection of minds and spirits." "I need to hide you," Elias said, suddenly protective. "Can you walk?" She nodded, and as he helped her to her feet, their eyes met. In that moment, something passed between them, a flicker of her thoughts, her memories. Her fears, and Elias knew that whatever had begun in this forest would change everything. "They will come for me," she whispered. "Let them try," he answered, surprised by his own determination as he guided her through the darkened woods toward his waiting car. 3 days passed in Elias's isolated cabin by the lake. Naira recovered swiftly, though she remained hidden from the curious eyes of the small town nearby. Each night, she required another small offering of his blood, and with each exchange, their connection deepened. It happened first, as Elias slept fragments of memories, not his own, playing behind his eyelids. Vast crystal cities suspended within violet clouds, the weight of ceremonial robes on slender shoulders, the cold scrutiny of elders with eyes like galaxies. "I saw your world," he told her over breakfast, watching as she examined a blueberry with fascination before tasting it. "The connection allows such sharing," Naira explained, her voice musical even in whispers. "My people abandoned emotions millennia ago, engineering them away to achieve perfect logic and longevity. But through you, ... she placed her hand over her chest. "Though it is ... overwhelming." That afternoon, as sunlight filtered through pine branches, Elias caught her staring at her reflection in the cabin's window. Her luminescent purple skin caught the light, making the swirling patterns beneath it dance like constellations. Is something wrong? He asked. On my world, I am considered flawed, she said, tracing a pattern on her arm. My markings are asymmetrical and perfect. I was to be recalibrated after my diplomatic mission. She turned to him, twilight eyes searching his face. Do you find me repulsive? The question stunned him. No, he said, moving closer. You're beautiful. Their hands met, fingers interlacing. Through their connection, Elias felt her uncertainty, her wonder at these new emotions, and something else, a warmth directed at him that made his heart race. That night, as he changed the dressing on her healing wound, her memories crashed over him like waves, centuries of isolation in royal chambers. Studying humans from afar, fascinated by their capacity for feeling, longing for what her kind had sacrificed in pursuit of perfection. You've been alone, he murmured. Till now, she replied. Her cool fingers tracing the mark on his palm, the room seemed to fill with violet light as their lips met for the first time, tentative, exploring. Elias felt her surprise, then wonder, then hunger through their bond. Her skin glowed brighter beneath his touch, the patterns shifting like stars rearranging themselves. Later, as they lay intertwined, her head resting on his chest, Naira suddenly stiffened. They're coming, she whispered, fear rippling through their connection. The council has tracked my vessel. They know about our bond. They can sense it across the stars. What will they do? Elias asked, tightening his arms around her. They will demand I return and sever our connection, she said, violet tears forming in her eyes. Such bonds are forbidden. They fear what emotions might do to our carefully ordered society, and if you refuse, then I become exile, she said, hunted by my own kind for the remainder of my days, which would be few without access to compatible life essence. Elias pulled her closer, his mind racing. There has to be another way. There is one possibility, Naira said hesitantly. Among the ancient practices, before the emotional purge, was the sharing of the star side a portion of one's essence given freely, permanently binding to beings. Her fingers traced the crescent mark on his palm. It would allow you to sustain me, but it would change you, and it would mark you as my chosen for all to see. Outside, the wind picked up, branches scratching against the cabin windows like warning fingers. They had little time to decide. Dawn broke with the sound of thunder, except there wasn't a cloud in the sky. Elias jolted awake, instantly alert as the cabin trembled. Beside him, Naira was already on her feet, her violet skin pulsing with alarmed patterns. Gravitational engines, she explained, pulling him toward the back door. A luminary hunter-class vessel. They fled into the forest just as blinding light flooded the clearing around the cabin. Through their connection, Elias felt Naira's terror not for herself, but for him. What will they do to you? He panted as they ran deeper into the woods. It is you they will eliminate, she replied, her voice tight. Our bond threatens millennia of carefully maintained genetic purity. They reached a small cave hidden behind a waterfall, a hiding place Elias had discovered as a child. Inside, water dripped from stone walls, creating haunting echoes. Naira's purple luminescence provided the only light. Her skin, reflecting off the damp surfaces, like twilight stars. Can't run forever, Elias said, checking the small wound on his palm where the crescent mark continued to grow clearer with each passing day. Then we must complete the bond, Naira decided, her otherworldly eyes resolute. The starseed exchange will give you abilities, enhanced strength, accelerated healing, extended life, and make you undetectable to their scanners. Will it hurt? He asked, not from fear, but curiosity. Her lips curved in a rare smile. It will be ... intense. She guided his hands to her chest, just above her heart. Beneath his fingertips, her skin warmed, patterns swirling faster, until a small area began to glow with brilliant violet light. My starseed, she whispered. The essence of what I am. Their lips met, and this time, the connection flared beyond anything Elias had experienced. Her memories became his centuries of life compressed into moments. He felt the weight of royal responsibility, the coldness of a society that valued perfection over passion, the wonder of discovering emotion through their bond. The glowing spot beneath his fingers detached, becoming a floating orb of pure light. Naira guided it toward his chest, where it hovered for a heartbeat before sinking painlessly into his skin. Heat spread throughout his body, a burning that wasn't unpleasant but transformative when it subsided. Elias looked down to see a luminescent violet mark on his chest, a complex pattern that mirrored one on Naira's skin. Through their now permanent bond, he felt her satisfaction, her relief, and something deeper, love that transcended species. "We are one," she said simply. The cave suddenly flooded with harsh light. 3 tall figures stood at the entrance, their skin a colder purple than Naira's, their eyes like empty galaxies. They wore sleek armor that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. "First daughter," the leader spoke, voice devoid of emotion. "You have violated the purity edict. Return for recalibration, and the human will be spared." Elias felt a surge of protective rage. "She's not going anywhere." The hunters raised crystalline weapons, but faltered as they noticed the glowing mark on his chest. "Possible," the leader whispered. "The starseed ritual is forbidden." Naira stood tall. "Not forbidden, forgotten. Like much of what makes us who we truly are." The first energy blast came without warning, but Elias moved with newfound reflexes, pulling Naira behind a stone column. He felt strange power coursing through his veins, her gift to him, changing him even as their hearts beat in perfect synchrony. "Together," she whispered, taking his hand, and as the hunters advanced, violet light erupted from both their bodies, ready to fight for a future neither of their worlds had ever imagined possible. The abandoned observatory perched on the mountainside offered temporary sanctuary. 3 weeks had passed since their escape from the Luminar hunters, a desperate flight through forest and field, across rivers and ridges, always moving under cover of darkness. The hunter ship had vanished, but Elias and Naira knew better than to believe they had given up. "They're regrouping," Naira explained as they settled into the dusty dome. "Calling for reinforcements, perhaps even alerting your authorities." Elias examined their reflection in a tarnished mirror, his appearance subtly altered by the starseed. Faint violet patterns appeared beneath his skin when emotions ran high, and his eyes occasionally flashed with starlight. The mark on his chest pulsed in rhythm with Naira's heartbeat. "I still don't understand why our connection frightens them so much," he said, drawing her close. "For thousands of years, we Luminari have believed that emotion makes us vulnerable," she explained, fingers tracing the contours of his face. "We engineered it away, seeing it as evolutionary weakness. But through you, I've learned that feeling isn't weakness, it's strength." Their bond had continued to develop. Sometimes Elias would find himself speaking in her native tongue without realizing it. Naira would laugh at jokes he hadn't told aloud. Their minds danced together in ways that transcended explanation. At night, when the observatory dome opened to the stars, they would lie together, their bodies entwined, violet light pulsing between them. In these moments, their bond reached its fullest expression, not just physical union, but the melding of souls across the boundaries of species. Under the watchful eyes of distant galaxies, they shared a communion unlike anything either world had known. "What if we're not an abomination?" Naira whispered one night as starlight bathed their skin. "What if we're evolution?" Elias considered this as he traced the patterns on her violet skin that matched his own mark. A bridge between worlds. The idea took root, growing stronger as days passed. Through their connection, Naira began to access long-suppressed Luminari histories, tales of a time before the emotional purge, when her people had formed bonds with other species, creating diplomatic channels based on deep understanding. My people weren't always this way, she realized. We chose isolation out of fear. Elias shared medical knowledge through their link, helping her understand human physiology. Together, they theorized that the blood exchange that had saved her life might hold keys to healing for both species. Luminari, emotional renewal, and human cellular regeneration. "We need to document this," Elias said, excitement building. Record everything we've discovered. For days they worked, using the observatory's old equipment to analyze their blood, document their connection, and compile evidence of the benefits their bond created. Naira's scientific knowledge complemented Elias's medical expertise, their minds working as one to build a case that might convince both worlds. But peace never lasts. The warning came through their bond's sudden tension that pulled them both. To the observatory windows, lights approached from two directions, the cold blue of luminary ships descending from above, and the red-blue flash of human authorities winding up the mountain road. They're working together, Elias realized with growing dread. Naira's hand found his, their fingers interlacing as violet light pulsed between them. Then we must make them listen together. The observatory dome hissed open to the night sky as vehicles surrounded the base of the mountain. Elias and Naira stood hand in hand at the center of the platform, their joined skin emitting soft violet light that illuminated the ancient telescope. "Are you ready?" she asked, twilight eyes searching his. "As I'll ever be," he replied, feeling her courage flow through their bond. The first to breach the observatory were human agents, dark, tactical gear, weapons raised. Behind them came three luminari in ceremonial robes, their emotionless faces betraying only the faintest hint of disgust as they beheld the bonded pair. Dr. Mercer, a human agent, stepped forward. "You're harboring a dangerous extraterrestrial entity. Step away from the alien." At the same moment, the lead luminari spoke. "First daughter, Nira Valaris, you have violated our most sacred laws. The Council demands your immediate return for purification." Elias felt Naira's fear flutter through their connection, but also her resolve. They had prepared for this moment. "Before anyone takes anyone," Elias said firmly, "you should know what you're trying to destroy." He activated the observatory's projector. Around them, data materialized, cellular analyses, neural patterns, historical records retrieved from Naira's ancestral memories. The evidence of their work over the past weeks. "Our bond isn't an abomination," Naira declared. "It's a rediscovery of what my people once were before fear drove us to abandon emotion. And it offers medical breakthroughs beyond anything we've achieved," Elias added. "Cellular regeneration, extended lifespan, enhanced immunity, all possible through understanding the luminary biological processes." The human agents exchanged glances. The luminari remained impassive, but Elias could sense confusion rippling beneath their controlled exteriors. "Impossible," the lead luminary stated. "Our evolutionary path was chosen for the preservation of our species, was it?" Naira challenged, stepping forward. "Or was it chosen out of fear? I've accessed ancestral memories through our bond memories you've suppressed. We were not always alone among the stars." She raised her hand, and through their connection, Elias channeled his strength to her. The violet light between them intensified, projecting images of ancient luminari forming bonds with other species, creating a network of understanding that had once spanned galaxies. "Your own histories confirm it," she continued. "Before the emotional purge, we were diplomats, healers, bridges between worlds. We didn't abandon emotion because it made us weak. We abandoned it because we feared its power." One of the human agents lowered his weapon. "Is that true?" The lead luminari hesitated. "Such histories are restricted knowledge, because they contradict everything you've built your society upon," Elias pressed. "You're not protecting purity or protecting control." The confrontation balanced on a knife's edge. Then, unexpectedly, a fourth luminari pushed through the ranks older, her movements stiff with age. Elder Sora Naira gasped, recognizing a member of the High Council itself. The elder approached slowly, studying the violet light pulsing between Elias and Naira. Without warning, she reached out, placing one hand on each of their chests, directly over their matching marks. The connection was immediate, their bond expanding to include her, sharing everything they had discovered. The elder's eyes widened, emotion breaking through her carefully maintained facade, for perhaps the first time in centuries. "It is as they say," she announced, her voice trembling. "The ancient ways, I remember them now. Before the purge, this connection was our greatest strength." The room fell silent. Human and luminari alike watched as the elder turned to address them all. This bond represents what we have lost and what humanity has never fully realized, she declared. Not contamination, but convergence, the next step for both our kinds. Slowly, weapons lowered. Expressions softened. The first tentative questions were asked. As dawn broke over the mountain, Elias and Naira stood at the observatory window, watching as human scientists and luminary scholars began cautious conversations below. Their hands remained clasped, violet light pulsing between them. "Do you think it will work?" Elias asked. "A true alliance." Naira smiled, her patterns shifting with hope. "It already has," she replied, placing his hand over the mark on her chest. "One heart at a time." Through their bond flowed images of possibility, future neither had dared imagine. When a wounded princess fell from the stars and a lonely doctor offered his blood freely, changing both their worlds forever. "One heart at a time," Elias echoed, as the first light of a new day transformed the mountain into gold.